register is blank, yet footprints cross the floor. A piano with one stubborn key keeps asking for encore. Tin cans roll their own decisions down the empty lane, and every doorway holds a draft that smells of kerosene and rain. Lead guitar drifts in thin harmonics, slightly out of tune, like a lullaby that forgot the room. No sermons in the daylight, no lanterns after dark, just a town that ate its heartbeat and still won't leave a mark. When you call out into silence, silence answers back. I swear I heard a welcome, then the hinges only sighed. I swear I saw a shadow, only mine own stepped aside. The well still tastes of copper, yet no bucket ever swings, and every empty storefront wears the sound of absent things. A minecart left on crooked rails, a lamp turned into stone, a pay line that dissolved one day and never made it home. Posters fade without a face, dates crumble into dust. A wedding dress in a wardrobe turns to lace and rust. Wind writes across the alleyways in bottle glass and grit, and the lead guitar snaps short phrases like it wants to quit. You feel the air remember you, then swallow up your name, like the town is playing games. Ghost towns aren't curses from the heavens, they're math that went untrue. A boom that promised forever, then vanished like it knew. Men chased a gleam, traded sleep for it, traded love for it too. Now the streets keep their confessions in the gaps between the few. So if you think you own tomorrow, take a lesson from the boards. A place can lose its people and still keep all their words. All their words. it speaks in ribs and jaw. Courage isn't clean applause, it's getting up raw. 3 heartbeats, grab the rope. 2 blinks, keep your hips aligned. 1 breath, let the chaos swing. 8 seconds, be the kind of stubborn they can't buy. You hit the dirt like a thrown out star. Boots overhead and sky. Taste iron pennies on your tongue. Still you don't ask why. A friend pulls you behind the boards. The clown drags danger wide. And somewhere in the noise you'll hear your old self laugh. Then slide, they'll turn you fall into a story. Sell it back at the door. Put your name on a poster, you can't live inside anymore. But when the night gets quiet, you feel the bone deep truth. Fame is a borrowed jacket, and pain remembers you. The myth says fear is weakness. The myth says never shake. But every rider knows the secret bargain that you make. You trade a piece of comfort for a moment in the light. You pay it back in limping mornings and in dreams that bite. So if you chase the glory, chase it with open eyes. Because the loudest cheers don't carry you home. When the echoes die, echoes die. Leaning days. A drunk gets dragged through gravel for a crime he didn't do, while the man who burned the hayloft gets a nod and strolls right through. Witnesses learn to stutter, juries learn to look away, because the sheriff owns the daylight and he rents it by the day. A badge can be a curtain that hides the dirty room, and every official paper smells like tobacco and perfume. Lead guitar climbs into higher register, sharp and bright like a lie that learned to sing in daylight. Corruption isn't thunder, it's a drip behind the wall. It softens every promise until nothing stands at all. And when the honest finally leave, the vultures call it peace. But peace without a backbone is just quiet on a leash. On a leash. beat thunder. Smoke climbs from the land. Some battles wrote their names in fear. Some ended in a rush. Some ended in a river bend where voices turn to hush. Women running, children carry the air split by command. And after quiet fields of clothing where no one understands, the lead guitar bites short phrases, sharp as flint on stone, that opens into long notes, like morning fully grown. History likes clean endings, but the frontier never did. It stacked up lost like cordwood, then called the story red. If you want to face the mirror, don't paint the edges gold. Name the deals, name the hunger, name the lives that were sold. Because a nation's conscience isn't written by the strong. It's measured by the wounds it leaves behind, and how it learns to right the wrong. Was a lantern swallowed whole, its timber turned to breathe. A cradle's lullaby replaced by hooves and hurried death. I tasted smoke on every word I tried to say aloud. Found only soot and splintered vows where family used to crowd. Their boot prints cut the dry wash banks, a thin and broken script, and I read it like a sermon with my knuckles white-lipped. The lead guitar keeps circling, a vulture made of tone, spelling grief in bending notes that never soften. I don't chase a face or fortune, I don't bargain with the years. I track the quiet fingerprints of laughter turn to tears. If mercy ever cut in stone, a shadow stitched to moonlight with a purpose on its own. They think the desert eats the tracks, that heat erases blame, but blood leaves a language deeper than a trail. Revenge is not a banner, it's a weight you learn to wear. It doesn't heal the empty rooms, it only fills the air. With questions you can't drown out, with faces you can't save, yet still the heart keeps hammering. Make them feel the grave. Clock face cracked and proud, a bell that doesn't ring for mercy, only for the crowd. Shutters blink like tired eyelids, poker smoke hangs low. Names get traded for a mouthful, then the room goes slow. Two silhouettes are separated by a strip of baked out street. One breath tastes like copper pennies, one breath tastes like heat. Lead guitar threads thin needle notes circling overhead, like a hawk that learned arithmetic above the living and the dead. Count the shadows on the windows, count the flies on every rail. Feel the seconds grow a backbone, feel the heartbeat start to scale. Hands don't move on courage, they move on signal. When the clock says now, the world turns narrow now. When the clock says wait, your future trembles, wait. When the clock says draw, the air becomes a verdict draw. When the clock says done, somebody's story ends. Done. A badge can be a borrowed mirror, shining different in each hand. A preacher's line, a gambler's grin, a deal you didn't plan. Boot heel scrape a small confession into dust that won't forget. A glance is all the paperwork this moment ever gets. The wind pulls at a hanging poster, tears it into halves, while the lead guitar draws tight spirals like a rope without the laughs. No orchestra of justice here, no courtroom, no applause, just a clock tower over breathing men and all their private laws. Some duels are built from pride alone, some from fear that won't stay small, some from silence in a back room bullet. It's what the bullet makes you be.
Some men replace the courthouse with a circle at the shack. When the lanterns start to gather, the town decides. Let it be known, a rope can vote quicker than a judge. Let it be seen, a badge can vanish when the drink runs hot. Let it be heard, a mother's plea won't stop a hungry crowd. Let it be done, the night will sign its name in knots. A rider found in Cottonwood, his pockets turned inside. The sheriff reads the empty air and lets the question slide. Two ranches, straight night riders, shots across the water gap. A fence line turns to battleground, a creek bed turns to trap. They burn a barn to send a message, stampede through the grain. It's where they never started, it's where they feel no stain. Lead guitar runs like frantic hoofbeats, skittering then wide, as if the song itself can't pick a side. A feud is a sickness with good manners and a smile. It's spreads through church and feet store talk. It travels mile by mile. And once you hang a man for rumor asks for more, till every neck in every town is measured by the door. If justice is a living thing, it dies when men pretend that rage is just a shortcut to the end. Under canvas and mosquito wine, coffee boiled in dented kettles, stars like nails along the line. A partner's laugh can keep you standing when the water tastes like dust. And one good hand on a spooked horse is worth more than gold in trust. We share a bedroll, share a silence, share the last of what we've got. And the lead guitar keeps breathing bright like hope that won't be bought. If wolves are close, we don't talk big. We set the watch and wait, because loyalty is practiced, not a phrase you decorate. When the trail turns mean and narrow, when the map forgets the way, you don't ask the sky for answers, you become the one who stays. A bandana becomes a witness, a canteen becomes a vow, a match becomes a lighthouse when the night won't loosen its brow. A saddle turns into a brother, a handshake turns to stone, and if the trail takes one of us, the other rides him home. A storm can throw the cattle sideways, turn the flats to rolling sound. Lightning scribbles on the horizon, then it vanishes to ground. We push through thorn and fever grass, through canyons cut with shade, and every mile is paid in muscle, in the promises we made. A man can fall without a bullet, just a cough that won't let go. A quiet weight behind the eyes that no one else can know. The lead under every line, like a hand that shakes in silence, then pretends it's fine. He counts the breaths between the thunder, counts the cracks in every plank, tastes gunpowder in morning coffee, even when the cup is blank. He doesn't chase a fight, he chases quiet. I carried winter bread in my pockets, now I carry a barroom door. I traded marching drums for freight whistles, but the ringing stays on. Out here the horizon looks generous, yet the nights still take their toll. I can move my body westward, I can outride what's in my skull. He buys a room above a saloon where laughter hits the wall, but every slam door turns to cannon in the middle of it all. A hand reaches for a canteen, finds a bottle instead, tries to trade the night for numbness, wakes up wired in the head. He sees his brother in a stranger's grin, his captain in a glare. He hears a bugle in a freight whistle cutting through the air. The lead guitar runs crooked lines, sharp turns, then wide and long, like a map that keeps rewriting where he belongs. The war took more than bodies, it took the shape of trust. It taught him how to live on edge, then left him with the rust of moments he can rinse away, of faces he can't save. So the West becomes a distance he can dig into our grave for yesterday. Yesterday, 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 yesterday. winks between the tables, chromatic and sly like trouble wearing cologne and a tie. Cards don't care about your story, fists don't care about your plan. A deal goes sideways in a heartbeat, and that's where chaos began. When the room holds its breath, you hear the truth. Keep your eyes on the knuckles, not the jokes. Slide your winning slow, don't gloat. If the bottle starts to tremble, step back. If the chair legs scrape, duck fast. And when the first shot steals the air, count your friends, then get out of there. A brawl blooms like a bad flower, boots and teeth and spit. A mirror catches flying bodies, then forgets it. Dealer wipes the blood from cuffs, keeps shuffling the deck. A whorehouse madam laughs too loud, then checks her neck. Someone calls a name like poison, someone throws a chair. A piano line gets strangled mid-phrase by the stair. Lead guitar bites higher now, a jagged neon sneer, spelling panic without using fear. The West builds temples out of thirst and lights them with a grin, where saints and snakes share bar stools and both can lose or win. You come for company and comfort, you leave with bruised advice. In a room full of hungry strangers, pride is the highest price. Highest price. He smiles like Sunday in a bank line, hat brim low and neat. A gentleman with restless pockets and quick hands for the beat. A safe door sings in careful circles, then sighs and gives it up. Not chaos, just a practiced kindness poured into a paper cup. Pinkertons count their miles in ink, each step a tide setting nets. But Butch keeps moving on a joke they haven't caught. just yet. A name becomes a passing coat. A town becomes a stage, and every lead guitar flourish draws a grin across the page. Not for the blood, not for the noise, for the clean escape and choice. When the doors all start to close, he vanishes where the wind goes. Leave no panic on the counter, leave no sorrow in the hall. Keep the hands calm, keep the talk soft, take the weight and go. Change your boots, change your story, let the posters miss the face. Laugh past the law, outrun the numbers, keep the ledger blank. Sundance rides beside him steady, eyes like river stone at night. Two shadows cutting corners where the daylight can't bite. A train stops breathing for a second when the masks come through. A payroll turns to tumbleweed and then they're gone from view. The posse hears a phantom echo, chases dust that won't stay put, while Butch trades maps in diner ink and folds them in his boot. They say the West will swallow them, that luck will finally fail, but the chorus keeps on grinning in a different key. Fame is just a hungry lantern swinging in a public place. It makes a myth out of a man, then tries to take his face. He wasn't built for quiet fences or clocks that always win, so he wrote his life in getaway lines and paid with borrowed skin. And if the ending turns to rumor, if the truth won't settle down, let it. The West loves what it cannot be. Lead guitar keeps gliding sideways
like a knife that learned to grin. No wanted sheet can name him, no prayer can make him stop. He doesn't look for mercy, he looks for where you drop. He takes your lamp and leaves you staring, takes your mirror and swaps your face, takes your breath and turns it colder, then walks it back to its hiding place. It takes one step inside your heartbeat, and you're hearing spurs that no one wears. He passes through a gambling room, the cards go dead and flat. A bullet hole in candle smoke appears above your hat. The bartender forgets your order, your tongue forgets your name. A piano plays the wrong chord and shivers into shame. Outside the hitching posts are empty, yet the boards still knock, as if a horse is circling slow just outside of the clock. Lead guitar bites sharp clusters, then slides in slow decay, like a ghost learning how to stay. The West keeps souvenirs of violence, keeps them stacked behind the eyes, and sometimes they come walking back in shapes you can't deny. Not to teach, not to warn you, just to collect what's due, because a life taken careless leaves a vacancy that moves, that moves. One step inside your heartbeat, and you're hearing spurs that no one wears. It takes your lamp and leaves you staring, takes your mirror and swaps your face, takes your breath, then turns it colder, then walks it back to its hiding place. It takes one step inside the doorway, and your house becomes the open range. Say nothing, but it should. 6 gunmen with borrowed glory, cards still stuck beneath their nails, buried quick without a sermon, just the hush that never fails. Lead guitar keeps drawing slow halos, high notes that ache and sway, like a lullaby for men who never learned to stay.
cheering. A marshal, a drifter, a dealer, a kid who thought he'd win. A face that smiled in daylight, then got swallowed by the din. 2 paces from a doorway, a bad angle, a wrong hour. Now he's just a line in memory under mesquite shadow. Families don't claim the bodies, friends don't sign the dirt. The town keeps moving forward while the graveyard does the work. Lead guitar turns sharp for a moment, then breaks into a cry, like the truth trying to surface, then passing by. Boot Hill is not romantic, it's the bill behind the grin. The end of every quick decision, the place the myths fall in. So if you want to chase the legend, bring a mirror, not a cheer, because the ground remembers details that the posters never hear. Never hear. A courthouse sleeps with open eyes, waiting for the sin. He rides without a posse, coat dark with travel dust. A man who sells the ending when the town demands the must. No hymn can sweeten hempen rope, no whiskey turns it kind, but coins can make a conscience quiet, and that's the trade they sign. Lead guitar slithers under phrases, narrow, tense and spare, like a cold laugh caught in air. You won't hear the verdict spoken, you'll feel it in the gate, in the way the hooves keep counting, in the weight of too late. When the rider reaches town line, the night goes still. Close the shutters, hide the bottle,
can't prove, and law becomes a hungry tool with nothing left to lose. So don't call it holy justice when the hands are bought and tied. A gallows is a simple machine. It only needs a side, the side, the side, the side. Close the shutters, hide the bottle. Don't start praying, start listening. A rope swings even without wind, and a saddle creaks like a witness when the hangman's horse comes in. Close the shutters, close the shutters. Hide the bottle, hide the bottle. Don't stop praying, start listening. A rope swings even without wind, and the street forgets your footsteps when the hangman's horse rides out. Sunbathed porch boards creak a rhythm when the noon won't move. Tin cups rattle on the counter, every glance is proof. Boot heels talking hardwood syllables, slow circles on the floor. A smile can be a loaded dare in a town that keeps the score. Dust devils braid the main street, curling like a fiddler's tune, while the lead guitar threads quick sparks under a watchful moon. Cards are dealt like quiet wagers, lanterns hum and dim, and the air is thick with stories that refuse to live in him. Count the footsteps, not the rumors. Let the room become the drum. Let the fingers learn the language before the moment comes, when the silence leans in closer and the eyes begin to weigh. You don't pray for luck, you choose the way. Cold in the pocket, grit in the teeth, grace on the edge of a blade. Saints in the daylight, snakes in the shade, debts that never get paid. Spurs on the gravel, smoke in the rafters, fate in a fingertip sway. This is the Wild West, it writes what it wants, then rides away. Cattle dust hangs like a curtain where the horizon bends. Rail spikes fight the prairie, bringing strangers, bringing ends. A marshal's badge can shine like truth or shine like bought out chrome, and every promise sounds different when you're far from home. Whispers slip between the shutters, names get traded for a drink. A hand goes near a holster, then pulls back, then doesn't think. The lead guitar keeps prowling sharp notes in the